This is Joe Pugh for IFLTV. We're here in Birmingham ahead of tomorrow night's Yafai versus Rodriguez card. Got Frank Smith nicely leaning on the speaker there. Don't knock it over, mate.
How heavy do you think I am? Do you know how heavy this thing is? But appreciate the fact that you think I'm a fat bastard.
I would say like hench bastard.
Hench. Never thought I'd be called hench in my life.
Heard you was running rings around people with paddles this morning.
I'm not a flash guy. I'm not like other people within my business or industry. I'm very understated, and if people say that I was running rings around them, then so be it. But for me, it was a nice day out. Doesn't matter about winning; it's about the taking part that counts for me.
Would you ever like film, get the Matchroom crew in, and like, because did you see yesterday Simon Jordan was filmed playing paddle on TalkSport?
What was he dressed as? Oh, can we do a call? Simon Jordan, I'll play you at paddle. I'll pick my partner, you pick your partner. Let's have it.
Who's your partner?
TBC. I need to have a think about it. Because it's a big game. If I get beat by Simon Jordan, it'll be... So, Simon, I know you don't like me and won't speak to me whenever I come on TalkSport and you're on there and you cower away in the corner. Let's have a game of paddle to sort out our differences. You bring your partner. First to 3 sets. Let's have it.
Wager?
The wager is... The wager is, all right, the winner decides a wager for either side. But it only gets told afterwards.
All right, let's get into this card. Yafai, Rodriguez. I was speaking to Sonny Edwards, actually, and he said Rodriguez is a very, very, very good fighter. It's not your stereotypical Mexican import. This is a champion in his own right.
Yeah, look, I think you saw it at the weigh-in today. He's a fighter who's coming confident and ready to go. You know, sometimes, as I said in another interview, you can see that the confidence isn't there. But with this guy, it is. He's been in big fights, and it's a tough test for Galal Yafai. You know, and just his 8th, 9th fight, you know, to see what Galal has done in his career is quite sensational. Great win, obviously, against Sonny last time out, but it's a proper test. But that's what he wants. He wants real tests. After this, he'll be going for that WBC world title fight, the full fight. But yeah, he's got to get through this and a proper handful in the opposing corner.
Shabazz Massoud obviously pulls out against Pete McGra. Einat Baluta comes in. Bogeyman, Road Warrior, whatever you want to call him. It's a great, great replacement for tomorrow night.
100%. And fair play to Peter McGra as well for taking the test and stepping up. You know, because he could have said, I'll just have an 8-rounder and wait for the Shabazz fight, which we plan to do later in the year. You know, I think Baluta has shown how good he is. He hasn't always got the result, but he's shown the levels he operates at. And I think it's going to be a real test. But Peter McGra doesn't want easy fights. You know, he's come into the sport. He was a standout amateur, obviously. He's had frustrating times, you know, coming off the back of the loss and then building himself back from there. Obviously, he was supposed to fight Dennis McCann in December. He had the win against Reese Edwards instead, who stepped in late. So, yeah, Peter wants to focus on being the best, and I believe he's got a huge future ahead of him, but he's got to get through Baluta, who's no joke.
When you look at Conor Walker, who takes on Liam Taylor, Galal, Aaron Bowen, it's a real hotbed at the minute for Midlands boxing, and it showed it by the amount of cards that is taking place here. But this is a good thing, bring back big time boxing to the Midlands.
100%. Look, we had a great show here last time out when Sonny boxed Galal here, packed out crowd as well. Yeah, so there's big nights. There's big nights to come in Birmingham, many more to come, and excited about what the future holds here. You know, great talent on the undercard as well. You know, you got Aaron Bowen, who sold 400 odd tickets for the show. You got Ibrahim Spider Suleiman. You got Hamza Uddin as well. Giorgio Vizioli, probably one of the best prospects right now in world boxing. TMA Ayton makes her professional debut, and obviously the big banger Pat Brown back out as well. So excited about what the talent on show and what the future holds for all these young guys and girls.
Yeah, you mentioned Pat Brown there. You made a brief cameo in our interview with Dave Allen yesterday.
Could you see me? I was like that.
You actually only saw the top of your head. Was
I shining off the light?
No, because it weren't as warm yesterday in the hotel. So if it had been today, I'm all right. I just think it's trousers.
So you bought that Prada jacket, and you need to get as many wears out of it as possible to get value out of it, didn't you?
Definitely
so you're wearing it in the heat of 30-degree summer, and it's. I mean, you could set. It's not quite thin. You could set fire in that thing.
Yeah, what is the plan for Dave Allen?
He's going to have a fight.
Against who?
Another fighter. In another corner. No, the plan is there's lots of options for Dave Allen. We saw how popular he was in that fight. You know, there's talk about the Jamie TKV fight. There's other big names that have called out Dave Allen as well. So let's see. But there's big nights to come.
I know Deontay Wilder's been mentioned, but is that a pipe dream, or is that could it realistically happen next year?
Anything's realistic in boxing, isn't it? Until it's impossible. And but I have just said in another interview, I like the Deontay Wilder fight for AJ. Should Deontay Wilder come through? And again, I'm not talking on AJ's behalf. I'm just giving my opinion. I think that's a great fight. I think the narrative's still there, the storyline's still there, and I hope we can make that.
Have you got a shortlist for AJ?
It depends on ultimately the route he wants to go down. I win a world title again, fight Tyson Fury. Whatever move we make next is the most important move. So yes, we've got names we're talking through with him, but you know, it's about what the driving force is for the next steps because it's the biggest move in his career.
Strategically, do you still go to Tyson Fury with an offer, or are you ruling him out at the minute, as he has ruled himself out? What's the game of it?
Look, he's retired right now, and I also think if it was to happen, it won't happen this year because stadiums, Christmas time, it's not ideal, is it? I think more likely spring, summer next year. I think we'll see that fight. Whether it's next, who knows? But unlikely, I think.
On the topic of AJ, what did you make of Carl Froch's video battering mainly Eddie Hearn, but you got a name mentioned in there?
I love Carl Froch. Just think he's jealous of AJ.
Really?
I don't say it for effect, like I actually do.
Why? What makes him jealous of AJ?
Because look at what AJ's done. Some people are jealous. People. I'm not downplaying who's done more in the sport, like at all. But like when you look at what AJ has done, I think that's my opinion. You know.
Do you think people kind of disrespect what AJ's done in the sport, and with time, people look at him with in better light?
I don't think he will get the respect until it's all said and done, and maybe a few years after that. I think he gets respect from people in the industry and people in boxing who say, do you know what? He revived the sport at a time it needed reviving. It was the perfect storm, wasn't it? 2012 Olympic gold medal in London, and then from there, look at the times we had over the next 10, 12, whatever, where we are now. You know, so I do think fighters and managers and other promoters can go, yeah, do you know what? Respect. Externally, you know, I don't think he'll always get that right now. And he never shied away, by the way, from anything. He said, he never fought Deontay Wilder. Because the deals didn't make sense, right? But he never shied away. When he got a mandatory put on him, did he vacate a belt? No. When Usyk got put on him, did he vacate it? When he could have vacated it and gone, oh, not for me, he's good, isn't he? And carry on this run I'm on. No, he didn't. When he got beat by Usyk, did he shy away from getting straight back in there? No, he didn't. Went straight back in there in a closer fight the second time round. When he got beat by Andy Ruiz, did he shy away from a rematch there? No, he didn't. Got straight back in with Andy Ruiz. He always tested himself. And, you know, high-level sport, you get beat.
Moving on. What got any update with Dmitry Bivol? Trilogy with Beterbiev? What's going on?
He's back, sort of early stages of training. I spoke to Vadim yesterday. He's going away with him for a little bit of training and working on what's next. The Beterbiev trilogy is obviously the one we're focused on.
Yep.
Eye out as well for the Canelo winner, or Canelo, because that's a natural fight, isn't it? A rematch between those two. So let's see. But he's latter part of this year, you'll see him back out.
So definitely see him in the ring in 2025?
I believe so, yeah. Last
thing, kind of news breaking this week of Chris Eubank Jr. getting brought before the board in regards to sauna. I know you've been asked about your take on the actual situation, but could it have an effect on the rematch with Conor Benn?
I don't believe so. Look, I think the reality is a lot of fighters have used saunas over time, right? And a lot of fighters push themselves to the limit. I think there has to be a wider overview of the sport and fighters making weight and ensuring fighters are fighting at safe weights. I don't think doing that 3 days before a fight to check that the fighter's on weight is the right thing. I'm not a medical professional. Again, I'm happily to be told different. It's my opinion of the situation. Do I think it changes anything? I don't think so, but it's not. I don't decide that. You know, ultimately, The British Boxing Board of Control called him in. That process happens in July, I think the second Wednesday in July, I think it will be. And then go from there. But it's not the first time he's pushed himself to make weight, because he's posted other times he's pushed himself in a sweatsuit with sweat everywhere. Like, I do think they have to. Like, I'm not in fighters' camps, so I'm not there in a sauna with a fighter. But look at the sport we're in, and look at the other disciplines of the sport, of fight sports, i.e. UFC. Look at how open they are with what they do to make weight. Those athletes, saunas like constantly, and it's so open. Like what Chris posted, UFC fighters post multiple times on every show. So I think we all want the sport to be as safe as possible, but they obviously are the people who decide how that's done. And also, every fighter, in reality, every fighter here tonight is going to, until they can't do it, is going to fight at the lightest weight they can possibly get to. And that's the reality of the sport. So if Chris goes, no, I want to stay at 160 because at 168 I'm not strong enough or I'm not big enough, that's why he fights at 160.
Frank, thank you very much for speaking to IFLTV. Tune in tomorrow night from the BP Pulse Live. Pulse.
Well, I'll be there. You mean these?
Yeah, the people, yeah. I'll be there as well.
You tune in, because we'll be there.
Yeah, thank you, mate.